Hello, everyone. I'm Sal, and welcome to our segment of the Module 3 presentation. While my group mates have given you an excellent look at how messages are framed and how media sets the public agenda, we are going to explore where the rubber meets the road, the power of the people. Tactical theories, as a reminder, focus heavily on strategy and messengers, specifically how messages are designed and delivered to persuade specific groups. Today, we are spotlighting one of the most dynamic bottom-up frameworks in this playbook, grassroots and community organizing theory. After that, we will wrap up our look at tactical theories by examining how they merge into a multidimensional toolkit for modern advocates. Let's dive in. When standard political discourse looks at power, it often focuses on power elites, billionaires, or massive institutions. But grassroots theory completely flips that paradigm. This framework emphasizes building power from the ground up by empowering local communities to tell their own stories and lead their own campaigns for change. Grounded in the discipline of social psychology, it suggests that policy change is made through collective action by members of the community who work together to fix the structural problems affecting their daily lives. The foundation of this theory is heavily tied to Saul Alinsky's groundbreaking 1971 work, Rules for Radicals, alongside later frameworks by community scholars like Douglas Bicklin. Unlike top-down political theories, grassroots organizing operates on a few brilliant underlying assumptions about human behavior and structures. First is cooperation is key. Power exists when and because people choose to cooperate or obey. If you disrupt the cooperation, you disrupt the status quo. Next, dynamic power bases. Power bases are not permanent monuments. They can be shifted actively through public actions and community events. Next, led by the affected. Organizing efforts should directly reflect the genuine wishes and realities of the people who are facing the problem. Capacity over charity. It is not about serving or saving people. It requires building the long-term capacity of those affected so they can address the problem themselves. Lastly, systemic focus. Finally, the goal is always to change institutions and policies, not to fix or change individual behaviors. So how do we apply this communication and advocacy? First, it means we work with the many, not the few. If you are running an advocacy group, your organization is not the leader or the driver. Instead, your role is that of a convener, facilitator, or capacity builder. You are simply providing the infrastructure for the collective to drive change. To understand how grassroots advocacy works on the ground, we can break it down into two simple operational phases: internal organizing and external pressure. First, we look inward with internal organizing. This is all about preparing the community from within. So, we build awareness to create a shared understanding of the problem. Then, we provide mobilization and training to give locals the leadership skills they need. And then, we conduct action research, which means helping the community analyze the policies affecting them directly. Once the foundation is solid, we shift outward to external pressure. This is where the community actively pushes for change. So We build partnerships to link our community groups with strong allies. Then we launch media advocacy using real local voices to disrupt the traditional narrative. And finally, we engage in public and legal action, deploying rallies, social protests, or legal challenges to force institutions to act. In short, we build the power on the inside and then we apply the pressure on the outside. When these ground level actions are deployed effectively, they create a clear, documented chain of theoretical outcomes. One, change in capacity. First, constituents gain an increased sense of personal power, heightened awareness, and alignment. Two, strengthened base of support. This increased capacity drives deeper public involvement and builds a massive base. Three, increased political will. A massive public groundswell forces the issue onto the political radar, drastically increasing the salience of the problem among decision makers. And four, improved policies. Ultimately, decision makers act, resulting in policy shifts that lead to long term changes in social and physical conditions. Now that we have covered community organizing, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture of tactical theories as a whole. Throughout this module, me and my group mates explored five distinct tactical frameworks. Messaging and frameworks, media influence, my topic right now, which is grassroots organizing, group formation, and diffusion of innovations. The single most critical takeaway from this section of the course is that these theories are not mutually exclusive. They are not isolated boxes where you must pick just one. Instead, they represent an advocate's comprehensive integrated toolkit. Depending on the unique context, timing, and resources of your campaign, tactical levers can be selected, amplified, or minimized. A quick example: a smart environmental campaign might use the fusion of innovations to spread a technical policy solution among highly influential regulatory insiders. Simultaneously, they might use grassroots organizing to mobilize the frontline community affected by pollution, while utilizing messaging theory to frame the public narrative around shared community values. So to close my part of Module 3, whether you are crafting a precise message frame, pitching an editorial to a newsroom, or organizing a local rally, you are actively pulling levers within this tactical ecosystem. Understanding the assumptions of, or understanding the assumptions undergirding these theories allows us to move away from guesswork. It enables us to make deliberate, strategic choices that maximize our leverage, build sustainable community capacity, and drive lasting systemic change. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm excited to read your comments and perspectives.